All right, so welcome everyone. Let me make sure that that I pulled a picture. But you know how one of the times I went over like about 23 or 20 or 25 different things on the laws of manifestation, because remember what I want to start calling this class. Of course, we're still going to call it the Shooting Stars. But remember what I think is going to happen from this class. Well, I don't think, I know, is some miracles are going to happen here, because when you believe, when you know, it happens. So I'll tell you a little story. A while back, when Joe Vitale and I were friends way back, it was around, I guess it was like 2006 or 2007, somewhere around then. It was right before he was in The Secret, and I used to read for him. And I remember he had all these opportunities come after, he was on The Secret and he was in the book, The Secret. And they were putting him on television. I mean, he got to be on Oprah, and all those exciting, wonderful things just really started happening. But you know what Joe always said? He called everything miracles. So he was going to have his course, which he had, in creating miracles. And I remember when I was working with him one day, and he was so excited about the miracle class and everything that he was going to do. I got in my car and I turned on the radio, and that song came on, I Believe in Miracles. And it was such a message that miracles happen. And I mean miracles, things that are impossible, they happen. And I want to say that Joe taught me that way back when, about the ability to manifest and create miracles. Of course, that song's pretty obnoxious. It's not a song I would try to find on the radio, let me tell you. But you know how the universe is, there's no accidents and it's synchronicity. It was validating and confirming what I knew. And we all have these things happen. You get in the car and all of a sudden what you've been trying to manifest or focus in on, you see a billboard, song comes on the radio, comes on TV, or just all these different signs. And as we talked about before, signs can happen with animals, birds, even insects. People, I have a good friend who every time she sees a dragonfly, she thinks about her husband that she lost, because there was some association with him and her, and dragonflies always appeared when she needed to know he was around. So all of us have our way of communicating with the spirit world, and we know the spirit world exists. So look for those things during these times. During this week, following into next week, I want you to look for signs for your miracles. Now, another thing is, so this is the miracles class, and we're going to start. I thought today, I gave you guys like 23 different rules to go by for manifestation, but I thought that's a little too much for everybody. Let's focus on one. And each week, we're going to focus on one thing that's going to help us with creating our miracles in our lives. And I got to say, I've already experienced a lot of miracles. Let me just say that. Now, let me mute everyone again. Someone probably just came on and didn't realize that their microphone needs to be muted. So the one that came to mind, I pulled a picture from my book of symbols, and it's fascinating because it was actually one of the things from the miracle list that I want us to work on week by week for manifestation. And let me show you the picture I pulled. So it is a family gathering for dinner. I hope the glare, you can see it okay. But, You can also tell how old my book is by the way that people look. And, my book, I told you I did this symbols. I'm not kidding you, about 30 years ago, maybe 28 years ago, I put together all these pictures from different magazines. And, that's something that you guys can do as well, because all it takes is getting, these plastic pieces of paper, putting a white piece of paper in there and putting a photo on each side. And it's kind of interesting. I didn't intend to flip this over, but this is another picture that actually, here, let me not get it where the glare's not on it, which actually coincides with the message I want to bring together and out of this class today. And from my, all of this list of things, let me go over that list. And I'm going to tell you, each week, we're going to focus on one, because this is too much to do in a week. Number one, take responsibility. Why is your life the way it is? It's because of you, not because of circumstances outside of you. There is nothing, when you blame other things outside of yourself, you have no control to change things. So we got to take responsibility, right? Number two, be clear. Number three, decide what you want. How many of you have vacillated back and forth from what you really wanted from this class? One week, maybe it's this, the next week, wait a minute, I think I want to focus on that. No, be clear, pick one thing. After you manifest that, then we'll focus on the other thing. But when you vacillate back and forth, it's not going to happen. So decide what you want, okay? Don't go back and forth. And of course, you have to believe it's possible. And of course, this was one I was thinking about doing, was saying, you've got to believe in yourself. Okay. That was the one I was thinking about using for this week, but there's another one. Okay. The other one is use the law of attraction. You got to know what you're thinking and what you're putting out there, you're creating in your life. You have to know and believe that. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. And the other thing is goal setting, which we're doing today. Release the brakes, quit, slowing yourself down. You really and truly, we have to learn to be more disciplined. When you get a new job, the job makes you do things that normally you wouldn't do because somebody else is forcing it to do it. Now you're on your own. You've got to do this for yourself. There's nothing forcing you but you. So to me, that's what releasing the brakes is. See what you want, because you're going to get what you see. So you see, that's why a vision board is so important. Okay. Act as though you already have it. That's another biggie. That's not easy to do, because, you're wanting, you're hoping, you're praying. No, you got to know, and you've got to see it and act like it's already happened. That really manifests it, because what is the law of manifestation involved? When you bring in your emotions and your feelings, that makes it happen. So take action. Hey, that's what we learned from Joe as our first speaker. And by the way, I'm looking really forward to seeing Pam Gregory next week. I think it's kind of funny. I'm sitting here with these pillows behind me, and any of you that have watched Pam Gregory, she is a wonderful spiritual Western astrologer, and she always sits with her pillows behind her. Anyway, okay. Take action. That's what Joe taught us. Experience the fear and take action anyway. Remember, that's what I say the definition of courage is. Remember to ask. Be willing to pay the price. You got to work for what you want. It's not going to be just handed over without any effort. And commit. Constant committing, never ending improving to yourself. Get out of the negative thinking clubs, those friends that bring you down. you can't hang out with them anymore. I'm sorry. Those friends are the ones that can have a major effect in preventing you from manifesting this particular goal that you're set on. And another thing is you're going to get rejection, but you look at that as an opportunity to see how you need to change. So that's another thing. How many people have you, movie stars that are like the top names in the industry, that said they were rejected hundreds of times? And how many people, I just read yesterday, who was it? It was Stephen King, incredible, probably aside from the woman who wrote Harry Potter, he is probably the most successful writer. Well, his book Carrie was turned down by everyone. It was like hundreds of people, and he actually threw it in the trash. But his wife went and got it out of the trash, and it's what set his career off. And they even made a movie out of it. I forgot how many millions he made on that book, something like 40 million. So, realize that rejection is going to happen. And it helps us and makes us stronger. Okay. But the negative thinking clubs, get rid of that. Those people that complain about how awful the world is and how bad everything is. But embrace change too. But here is, I'm going to quit reading all of these. We have all of these going on, but the most important one that came for us to work on this week, because we're going to work solely on one of these things the entire week. You've got homework, serious homework, and it is to build a powerful support team. You're already doing that by being here in this class, seriously. But I think that it goes in alignment with coming together with others. See, that's a family that comes together, eats together, shares thoughts, ideas, and it supports people. And I didn't even know that this picture was on the back, which is family. So you see, one of my belief is this, and I know all of you have to believe this way too. Family is one of the most important things in our life, if not the most important. How can you be successful without the support of your family? And those of you that maybe feel like you're alone or you don't have a family, and there's a lot of people out there right now that feel like that, and some of you might, find the people, your support team, because we all need support. I remember years ago, there was this astrologer in my class. She was a very well-known Western astrologer in our community many years ago. And actually, I don't even know if this is important to the story, but her husband had one of my favorite restaurants in the Dallas area. It was called Vincent's, and he was a Greek. And my husband and I always say we think Greeks have the best restaurants, or something about and it doesn't even have to be a Greek restaurant. I don't mean that, but just something about the Greeks. They know how to have great restaurants. Their food is wonderful. And this was a seafood restaurant. It was my very favorite restaurant for years. Her husband owned it, but she had divorced him, and she was very, very bitter about the divorce. Okay. And I remember in class, she was saying, I am alone and I want to be alone. I don't want to be with anyone. I don't want to be with anyone. And I thought it was really sad because, we didn't come to this planet to be alone. We have to be with other people. This is what this is all about. We have to come together, whether you like them or not. We have to come together with other people. And, it would be really, really easy to grow spiritually if you just meditated in a cave and you didn't have to deal with other people. Why? Because other people push all of our buttons, make us angry, and make us feel bad, hurt our feelings, break our hearts. But we have to come together with others. This is so very important. And did you know, this is, in my estimation, a fact, we learn more about ourselves through relationships. They teach us about ourselves, right? Excuse me. So we're learning so much about who we are by what triggers our anger, our emotion, our love. when you believe I come in here without any water or anything, but that is how we learn about ourselves. And you know what's so interesting in astrology is the seventh house is opposite the first house. Opposites are always an indication of something that who we are, but fills in all the gaps of what we're missing. The opposite does, but they're one and the same. They're a polarity. It is a pole of the same thing, such as when you know astrology, Aries is the first sign, Libra is the seventh sign, and Libra is all about relationships. And when you think about the first house being you, well, the seventh house, which is exactly opposite, is your relationships, your marriage. And it reflects, the opposites reflect. So you learn about yourself through your marriage. And what's so interesting is in astrology, if you were to look at the seventh house as the marriage partner, you would actually make that the first house to be able to understand what the marriage partner's all about, what they're like by flipping the chart around. The seventh becomes the first. Read it as though it were the partner, where all the planets fall from the houses as though the seventh house were the first. But what I think is so interesting about that little concept is the first house becomes the seventh house from the seventh house. Therefore, it's how your partner sees you. So you see, the opposing houses are one and the same in many respects, but opposite. So that's your partner. And that's where we learn so much about ourselves, through the way our partner sees us. It may not be the way we want to be seen, but it is the way they see us. So we can learn a lot about ourselves, and we can learn a lot about what we're here to do, and how we can, it gives us opportunities to better understand how we can improve ourselves by better understanding how our partner sees us. So getting back to my basic concept here, that relationships are how we can actually grow. And you know what they say, which is the hardest thing for us to fathom, is our enemies teach us the most about ourselves. So, you know, when somebody hurts your feelings and makes you feel bad, try to figure out what it is within you that you can change to improve yourself based on what that relationship is teaching you about you. So we are not meant to be here to be loners, to be, what is that, a rolling stone, you know, where you're all by yourself, like this astrologer said. And I'll tell you something about that sweet woman that was so hurt about, you know, her husband and divorce, and never wanting to have a relationship again, and never wanting to associate with people again. She pretty much didn't like people. And that's one thing that will really enhance and beautify your life, when you learn to love people. Loving people will make your life happier. And I love my job because I get to talk to people all day. And I really do love people. You know, so many people say I hate people. You know, why? Because they've been hurt in some way. And they don't want to get hurt again, like my friend. But I'll tell you something really sad about her. She was probably, well, she was old enough to be my mother. Okay. So I heard she's passed on since the early days of teaching astrology with her. And she died of a heart attack. You know, you got to consider the body speaks to us too. Our body holds our emotions. Our body holds what's wrong with us. So when we have a broken heart, it will affect the physical heart. So many of you know, many of you out there are healers, and you know this is a fact. So depending on what area of the body is affected symbolically, it has an effect physically. Okay. So she died of a heart attack. Why? Because she really had a broken heart. And as you all know, we've all been hurt in love at some point in our life, whether you're 16 or 60, whatever, you actually feel an ache in the heart when it's broken. You know that, it hurts. So the physical body is reminiscent of everything that we are. And remember, going back to the ancient scriptures, the Vedas in Vedic astrology, they look at, and I brought this up before, they look at the Vedas are put together as hymns. And I think probably it was only passed down through oral tradition because, they didn't have the writing so far back when. But remember this, that the Vedas are put together as the body of man. And the thing I love to talk about all the time is that astrology in the Vedas is said to be the eyes of man, where I forgot, like, I think yoga might be the arms, and there's different aspects of all the Vedic sciences that they're put together as the body of man. But I love the way in the ancient Vedas, the eyes are astrology in these hymns that are representing the human body. And one thing it always says is, if you know thyself, everything about yourself, you're going to know everything about the universe. As above, so below, everything that's contained with us is out there. And that goes with our law of attraction, talking about what we think, what we talk about, who we are, is always going to be a projection out there. What we see out there is because of what's within us. That is a projection. And so many people project things onto other people, as you well know. People, sometimes you get in a fight with your husband or with a friend, and what they're telling you is their projection many times of what they're all about, but they project it onto you. Why? Because they don't want to be responsible for their actions and who they are. So remember that. That helps when, you get in a fight with somebody and you realize they're projecting their stuff onto you. So, but you have to know the difference. And in other words, don't you point the finger back, go, yeah, but remember what you did 10 years ago to me? We all kind of think that, but when you point the finger back, you're not taking responsibility. Listen and hear what they have to say, but do realize many people project their issues onto you so they don't have to deal with it and they don't have to change. So realize this, become more aware when we're in conversation with other people. But our message today that we're going to be working on all this week is finding our support group. And that also means bringing together in a loving way your family. So if there is something going on with you and your family that separates you from the people you love that you're with every day, I'm not saying you have to go find some long lost cousin, or if you're in a fight with a sibling that you hadn't talked to in 10 years, I don't mean you have to go find them and make peace with them, but you do have to make peace with yourself within concerning this individual. But more than anything, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about finding your support group now that can support you in what you're trying to manifest right now. And this picture tells me family's important. It's a whole family. Boy, that's a big family, isn't it? And this picture means we need to have more gatherings with others. So sit down and eat with your family. Share your thoughts, your ideas with your family. and with the friends that are your support group. So I want to hear from more people today when I open up the doors for people to start speaking about what it is that you feel that I'd like to hear from some of you, if you even want to share what you're trying to manifest, and bringing people together in such a way as we're doing with this group is going to help us with our manifestation. So before we go a little any further, I want to share the screen and I want to start talking about where the planets have moved today, because this is, even though some of you don't have astrological knowledge, I'm gonna tell you what it means, so you don't need to worry about being able to read a chart. So here we go. And by the way, today is what, the summer solstice. Yes, June 21st. So what's the summer solstice, as well as the winter solstice? This is the longest day of the year in what? The Northern Hemisphere. I have to say that because, hey, I have a great crowd from Australia and New Zealand that come on board with all of this. Fabulous people. And as a matter of fact, I'm planning a trip to Australia to visit my students in Australia, but not till 2023. But this is for noon today. The rising sign over here, the ascendant, is in Leo. So the sun is the most important planet of this chart because it rules the ascendant. That's how I look at astrology. And probably it's not the most important, but it let me put it this way, it's very important for this chart. So where does the sun go? Ironically, it goes to the 11th house of friends, and it's in the sign of Gemini. What is Gemini? Communications all the way. So this whole week, I want you to really, really think about who you're going to bring into your circle of friends, and connect with them. Call some friends on the phone. I want you to start bringing groups together. This is important. And I know maybe this is enough coming together with this group. This is a big deal. You chose to participate in this group of powerful people. I mean, every single one of you that I've talked to is a spiritual soul that's looking for enlightenment. That's why we're here, because we want to come from a place of the light, because there is so much going on in the world that's so dark. But things are going to improve over the next couple of weeks. Take advantage of this. So looking at where the planets are starting to improve, one thing that's happened from last week is that Venus came into the sign of Taurus. Venus rules Taurus. This is fantastic. And it's coming together with Mercury, the planet of communications. It's in the 10th house here. So those of you that are focused in on improvements with your work and your career, this is wonderful, because this is the week that I want you guys to really start doing what you have to do. Remember, you got to do the work if you're going to manifest expansion with your work and with your career. But this is where Mercury and Venus reside together, Venus being the powerhouse in its own sign, ruler of the 10th and the 10th. Going over here to the 9th house, we have Uranus and Rahu coming together. And by the way, thank goodness Venus has already crossed over Rahu, so that's behind us. We don't have to worry about that anymore. But now we have this beautiful Venus and Mercury conjunction. They're both benefics. So all of you that do know your chart, think about where Taurus is. This is where things are really coming to light for you. That's going to be where things in a beautiful way are coming together, because these two benefics, and specifically Venus in the sign of Taurus, it's all about beauty and art. And this is what this planet, as it transits through Taurus, is going to bring out. The beauty in the world. Pay attention. You know, there is, when you learn to love your life and learn to love who you are, you're going to start seeing all the beauty in the world. And that's the way we want to live our life. Absolutely. But going over here, most importantly, I always say the planet that rules the chart is the planet to focus in on initially when you look at a chart. But where is the moon? The moon is always going to be giving us answers. And the moon is with Jupiter right now. How beautiful is that? Everyone here today, I promise you, just by looking at that aspect, is going to get a lot out of this class, because the moon is how we feel, it's our emotions, and it's our mind. It's in Pisces, which deals with compassion, which deals with love, which deals with softness, kindness, Jupiter, moon. This is a very spiritual conjunction, okay? And with the moon being with Mars, I know that's kind of, well, let me put it this way. For those of you that do know astrology, you might realize that Jupiter, Moon, and Mars are from the same planetary camp. They actually like each other. So putting all that together is very empowering. Today is a good day for you to focus in on what you are wanting and manifesting it. Remember, I told you guys to make a vision board. I hope you're still working on your vision board. I want you to think about your vision board in terms of how other people are going to help you manifest your goals, because you can't do anything alone. You got to have other people to help you. Sorry about that. Okay, let me just get, I don't know why that's doing that. I hope it doesn't interfere with our connection, but we're okay. I can see everybody still. So this is one thing, taking all of those things that we are working on, our laws of manifestation. Think about how other people can help you in achieving your goal. Reach out to other people, form these groups and form these friends that are going to come together and help you. Come together with your family. Your family is there to help you. You chose the people that you wanted to be in a family with. Don't kid yourself. I know it's kind of bizarre. Sometimes we think I chose this, but you did. Before we come down, and throughout all of our lifetimes, we incarnate pretty much with the same people because we're working things out. And you've got to learn how to come together and work together with these people. Otherwise, you're going to keep repeating the same karmas that you definitely want to heal in this lifetime. So once again, I think this whole chart is confirming that we've got to look for our people that support us, that help us, our friends, our groups, our family. People come together and learn to love the people in your family. And this is going to make your life happy. So you cannot do things alone. You cannot dislike people. And then, and another thing is, you can't blame other people. Take responsibility as to what you're all about, what you're here to do, to manifest what you need in this world. And one more thing, remember this when you think about what you're trying to achieve. Now, some of you might just be wanting to achieve, and there's nothing wrong with material things. Maybe you want a new house. That's a great thing. I got to tell you, when I moved into the house I'm in right now, my whole life changed. And, maybe it's the feng shui here, maybe it's the energy here. But I'll tell you one thing, after I moved into this house, my whole energetic field seemed to change. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to move and find that house that's going to give you what you need to make your life work, make it happy. So I'm telling you, if it's a materialistic thing, it's fine. But one thing I do want you guys to always remember, whatever you focus in on life, especially in work and career, remember that you must have purpose in your work and your career, because it will make you happy. It will give you a sense of fulfillment in this life. So, in other words, purpose is what drives us. And I got to say this, and all of you here, I know will agree with this. When you help other people, that gives you a sense of purpose. And so make sure that in some way what you do is giving back and helping others. That should be a part of the work you do in the purpose, because it's going to make you feel a sense of happiness and fulfillment in this world. And it's like all the great devotees and saints and people who work on themselves spiritually, they all say in the end, all I want to do is help people. And that's what I think the great saints and gurus and avatars, that's what they end up doing. Even when they leave this dimension and this planet, they work on the other side to help people. Because here's another thing that you've got to remember about this whole dissertation. We're all one, right? You've heard that a million times. So essentially, when you're helping other people, you're really helping yourself, because we're all interconnected in this divinity. And so I just want you to know that whatever you're doing in your life, make sure it has purpose, number one, and number two, it's helping people. And that's why we want to come together and share, because your story about what you're achieving, your miracle, is going to help other people. Because how many times have you heard people say, if I can do it, anyone can do it? And that's what I want to hear from you, to help the others here that are maybe struggling in some way struggling or having an issue or a problem with what's going on in the world. But remember, what's going on in the world is giving us an opportunity to better understand ourselves and our spirituality. And what are we all here to do in the long run? Grow spiritually. And all these other things are just diversions to help us in that path. Our career, our love life, our family, we're all here to expand and grow, because what we're all going to discover in the end is we are all one and we are all connected, and it all is a spiritual journey. We're all spiritual beings in a physical body. You've heard that so many times, but all of this does help us remember who we really are and what we're here to do. So I've been speaking now for almost 45 minutes. I love this chart. This chart is truly amazing. And by the way, I tell all my students, I always look for when the moon comes together for Jupiter, when the moon is being aspected by benefics. That is the best time to start projects and do things. Okay. So looking over here, the moon is with Jupiter. And Jupiter couldn't be stronger by being in the sign of its rulership, Pisces. So this is a great day. And of course, I said the stock market would go up today, and it did. Why? Because Jupiter's with the moon. And last week, they acted like it would never come up again. And remember, I told all you guys, don't worry. First 2 weeks of July, when all these planets go into their own sign of rulership, it's going to be amazing. So when Mercury goes into Gemini, boy, are we going to be able to really communicate things much quicker. And by the way, Mercury is moving much quicker. It's starting to go in fast motion. From the retrograde period, it's just starting to speed up. So we'll start to see a lot of things begin to really move forward in this world. And we don't have to worry about what I see on the other side right now. Let's just enjoy where this planetary energy is right now, because it is of great benefit for all of you in your goal of your miracles. This is your time to manifest your miracles. And, one more thing that came to me, when I did my meditation today, and I asked, what am I here to tell you guys today. What is the message besides all the messages that the book came up with, and the thing that we're going to work on, bringing people together in our togetherness with family and friends and our support group. It came to me, and it's actually kind of what I was talking about with the body of man. But did you know that your chart is actually your solar system? And wherever there's planets that are the weakest in your chart, and you know what? You probably don't even need astrology for this, because you're going to know where your weak points are. But I want you to know that that particular planet, whatever is your weakest planet, the part of the body that that rules is where you are the weakest. And that part of the body will be in alignment with one of your energy centers, which are the chakras. So for example, in my chart, my sun is probably my weakest planet because it's debilitated and it sits with Saturn. So I'd name that as a weak planet for me. So the sun rules the heart and the heart energy. And that would mean in astrology, and that would particularly mean that I need to work on issues around giving and receiving love. And that's what you can see, that there's different energy centers. So I want you, and you don't even need astrology, because I know some of you guys aren't astrologers, but what area of the body, do you always get infections in your lungs? Okay, if you do, then that's the Mercury planet. And what are the lungs really all about? Our speech, our communications, breath, breathing, and that all ties in with our communications. So I want you to think about where your body is the weakest, and that tells you a lot about your chakra energy, that when you meditate, I want you to focus on that energy center to strengthen it. In other words, visualize. Here's how I do it. When they say chakra is spinning wheels, they say it's a spinning light, or it's an energy center, and it spins. And there's actually a book out there, probably some of you have read it. It's fascinating. It's called The Fountain of Youth. And one of the exercises in the Fountain of Youth is to spin, and I believe it's counterclockwise. Yes, the spin. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll have to get that book out and review it. But my point is, when you spin, you're helping your chakras activate and spin stronger and better. But the exercise that I want you to do is to focus in on that energy center. Remember the chakras. You have a crown chakra, you have a third eye chakra, you have a throat chakra, you have a heart chakra, you have the solar plexus chakra, and you have your reproduction area chakra, and you have the root chakra. And wherever you feel the energy that is dysfunctioning, that's where I want you to visualize the circle of light spinning faster. And this will help heal your body and balance your body, the physical body, not only physically, but spiritually and emotionally. So I want you to think about the chakra energy. So that's another little exercise when everyone here is meditating. I want you to think about the energy center. So I was told to tell everyone here to focus on your energy centers and find which one is the weakest. If you've had a lot of broken hearts, then it's going to be your heart. If you're very fear-based, you can't get out of fear, that's going to be, and here we don't need to look at this chart anymore. If you feel like you're very fear-based and you can't get out of your fears, it's the root chakra, and that's going to be, in the root, that's Saturn. if it's your reproductive system, it does have a lot to do with relationships and love. And if you have issues with your children, then visualize that that center is being spinning faster and stronger. And if you have anger issues, it's going to be the root, not the root chakra, the solar plexus, because that will relate to Mars energy. And of course, the heart is Venus and the sun. But the third eye, we all should focus in on opening our third eye, because it strengthens our intuition. And the crown chakra really does connect us to the collective unconscious, to everyone. And actually all of our energy centers should be aligned and opened and spinning. And one more thing, the energy centers align with our glandular functions. So, all of us at some point have problems with imbalances with our glandular system. And by visualizing these chakras spinning faster and more light coming into them, and color as well, you will begin to heal somewhat your emotions and your body. So let's think about that this week when you do have a meditation. Remember last week I told you to focus in on looking at the flame. Now this week I want you to energize your chakras by really going through all of them and making sure they're all spinning wheels are spinning bright with light, and they're functioning to help balance our emotions and our body physically. So, okay, so this is my little dissertation that I wanted you to strengthen your chakras this week, and I want you to come together with your support group, family and friends that can help you manifest your goals in this life. This week, we're going to focus on one thing. Too many other things to focus in on. This is our homework this week. And I want to hear back from everyone next week how that felt and what that did. And as for an exercise right now, I want people to open up and share how you've been doing this week, and if there's anything that's troubling you this week that we can help you with. And or I want to hear some success stories, and whatever, now's the time for you to share with us.
Hey, Joni, I'll get us started.
Okay.
I think one miracle is that I showed up to the call today and you're talking about build your support team, because one of the things I was going to put in the chat was my email and phone number and see if anyone, wanted to connect.
Yeah.
Because I did, just like you said earlier, I did very purposely and consciously join this group because I knew it would be full of just amazing people. So that's a really great thing. And I just love it when the universe delivers that way. And I think that for me, if I had an intention and something that I could get help with is, like I said before, my daughter has graduated high school. I'm not married. I'm not necessarily tied to the city I'm living in. I just feel like I'm just like wide open. And my biggest desire is really to come back into nature. Harmony rather with nature. And I have, I work remotely. Thankfully, I'm so grateful that I can work remotely during this time. I'm unvaccinated, not going to become that way. And so not having to face that in the workplace has been a real, blessing. But I am in front of the laptop all day long, and it's just not congruent with my aura, my energy system, my body. I can tell as soon as I get outside and take a walk. My whole just everything changes the moment I get outside the condo and out from in front of the laptop. So anyway, that's enough for now, but thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so thrilled to be with this group.
Thank you, Julie. And my astrology classes, and Madeline, I noticed she's here today. She actually took it upon herself to bring people together aside from just the classes that I was doing on Zoom. And now there's like what we do in our astrology classes, we have where people connect on Telegram. So, I mean, you guys, all of you are like-minded. If you want to connect outside of this class to help support each other all the more, we can find ways to do that as well. So we can figure this out, but I think it's wonderful that you guys are wanting to meet each other. This is great. And what you're going to find out is there's probably somebody in your town even that's in this group. It's just, and everything happens for a reason and everything's meant to be. So, there's no accidents why we're all together here and meeting who we're meeting and who we're going to end up connecting with in future projects. So, I don't know. We'll talk about how we can connect. Maybe we should have a Telegram group for all of you guys if you want. Y'all let me know what you want to do. And by the way, I think you guys all have my email, which I'll give you my personal email. And don't be offended if I don't respond because I get, a lot, but I do read them. So let me see. How do I put this in the chat? Okay, so I'm going to type mine out. Okay, all right, so there we go. So, this is wonderful. We're all coming together, we're connecting, and this is what this lesson is this week, isn't it? Coming together and connecting with everyone and helping each other. So I love the way you all are so ready to connect and find out who lives close by. This is fantastic. So anyone else want to share something?
I do. I have a question.
Great.
I just pulled up my chart and I was very intrigued by what you were saying about find the part of my body and whatever. And I was so busy trying to find my chart and I finally did. Can you repeat back where I look and what does that mean for me?
Okay, so it's the planet. You got to kind of know what makes a planet dysfunctional in a chart. And a particular sign weakens it. It's debilitation sign. So if you have a planet that's debilitated, and then if it sits next to malefic planets, that weakens it. And that's going to mean that that part of the body that planet rules is going to be where the chakra energy needs to be strengthened. Does that make sense? Because it's weaker.
So it's like a series of things I would have to look up, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but let me ask you, where do you get sick the most?
Well, that's interesting. So I'm cleaning out my gallbladder. I get a lot of pain right here in my back. And I have like candida overgrowth and stuff. I had a lot of childhood trauma and like stuff like that. So it's like, holistically and spiritually and stuff. When you look up all that stuff, it's I work on it medically.
It's the reproductive system. It's Jupiter.
It's Jupiter.
It's Jupiter. It's a reproductive system. Because what you were saying with candida, that sometimes has to deal with that. And the gallbladder is ruled by Jupiter. Okay. So, and that's where the reproductive system is. That's a chakra. I want you to really imagine spinning stronger. And Jupiter is yellow. So I want you to visualize bright yellow healing energy and light in there to strengthen your Jupiter. And you'll see a marked difference. I promise.
And
you.
was there something crazy going on in the universe on Friday? Because Friday was one of the most challenging, literally challenging days of my life. And it ended up being that way for a couple people. The outcome ended up being okay, but I did not think that there was probable outcomes on Friday, not to be dramatic, but it was pretty intense. So I just wondered if anyone else thought that Friday was just like crazy.
I think it's like, I think Venus just changed signs recently. That would have been what, 4 days ago. Today's Tuesday. Yeah. So Venus would, I was thinking that because last weekend or around that time, Venus came together with Rahu. And that's why I think everything was kind of crazy and intense. Venus, Rahu, Venus is love, Venus is peace, and Rahu makes it all go haywire.
It was literally haywire, literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
So yeah, we all kind of warned everyone about the Venus Rahu conjunction that was coming. Now they're separated, so you can relax. Okay. So I don't think next weekend, I think things are going to get better, but that was an intense aspect in transit. And, I don't know where the moon was on Friday, but the moon always is telling us what everyone's feeling, because the moon is the public, the moon is the masses, and it is our emotional body. So if we went back to Friday, wherever the moon was, will tell us so much about what we're feeling. So and that's where I always tell people to also watch the phases of the moon. They're so important. The new moon, the full moon, the quarter moon, it all has meaning. But, there's more to it than just that, needless to say. But I think it's the Venus Rahu to answer your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Anyone else want to share or ask me a question?
I'll share what you shared, Joni, with the message of people needing to come together with friends, family, really resonated with me, because my husband and I have been having a really rough past year or so. And not this past Friday, but the Friday before, we were making moves with him, getting being employed again, and he lost his vehicle. We're we're at risk losing our home, and so we decided to pull the trigger and sell our house and move back to East Texas, where we're both from. And last week was just horrible. We fought, and things that we were working on, we just stopped because where the moon was definitely had an effect on us. But this past Friday, two of our friends came and visited us, and we were so thankful that we did not say, no, we can't, it's not, things aren't good at home. We don't have the energy or the space, but we did have them come over, and it really helped bring us out of this pit of despair and motivated us. And so we've been getting the house ready to put on the market. And I think we have a lot to look forward to, because we're moving back home, and not only is most of our families in East Texas, but a lot of our friends, including the ones that just visited us, we're going to be closer to everybody. And we also have a couple of friends that live out in the country. They stream on Reddit. They're building this online community of people just based on just positivity, just spreading love, happiness. Mm-hmm. And it's grown immensely over the past year. And we think that together we can create something bigger that can help people with whatever. I mean, me with astrology, them with just spreading love. And it's just things are definitely changing for the better.
Mhm.
And I love that message of,
Yeah.
community friends. So yeah, I think that was very important to share. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Where are you moving in East Texas?
I think we're gonna be in Marshall. I'm from Kilgore. He's from Beckville, which is basically Carthage. But
Okay.
yeah, we're the Pine Woods is home to us.
Yeah, it's pretty out there.
We're in Arlington. We both wanted to be here, but those reasons have changed.
Yeah.
We've been here for a few years, but I'm glad that we made the move and saw and
Mhm.
experienced, but now we're like, okay, now we have a different perspective. Now we know what's important, especially after with me losing my brother, and I want
I
to be close to
know.
my family. Like
Absolutely.
yeah,
This is
so
a really important message for you today to hear.
yeah. So
Incredible.
I'm not discouraged at all. I'm excited. I'm excited for change. I'm going to embrace it.
You should. It's a big opportunity. Sometimes we're forced to do things, and we think it's the worst thing in the world that's happening to us, and then we look back at it and go, "Thank God that happened," because I wouldn't be where I am today or know who I do. So everything happens for a reason. We can fight it all we want, but when we change and we surrender, as that's what you're doing,
Yeah.
then you see where it's taking you. And, that's beautiful. By the way, I have a really good friend that lives in Mineola. So she has a dairy farm out there, and she graduated from my university, and, we go visit her a lot. It's beautiful out there. It
It
really is.
is. It is.
It's nice, it's peaceful, and it's beautiful.
That's the important thing. It's too busy here in DFW. It's just
Yeah.
all this energy. It's just too much.
Yeah, especially because everybody's moving to Texas right now, and the
Yeah.
traffic, we didn't used to
Mm.
have the traffic we have today, but it's pretty intense now. But I'm glad this is happening for you. I'm glad you surrendered to knowing that everything's happening for a divine reason. And most of all, you get the message today. Seriously, get the message
Yeah. And
today.
I've been wanting to move back, and it does feel like our hands have been forced,
Yeah.
so yeah, definitely.
I can tell it's going to be a great move for you. Things are going to only get better for you. And you've been through a lot lately. Oh my God. So everything's changing, and it's changing for a divine reason. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate when you speak up. Okay. Somebody else want to add to this today?
I'll go ahead and talk for a little bit. I have been in real estate for many, many years. I've raised 4 daughters, and now they're all grown up. And change is also like, I thought I was okay with change, but apparently I'm not. So it's been very, it's been challenging, but I've been wanting to write for years and years and thought, well, you're too busy. You're raising your kids. This is, don't think about that. And I've been writing things down over the years, and I came across a lady who had a writing group. So I joined the writing group, and still kind of scared to submit any kind of work. And I went ahead and did it. It was so scary. I was like dizzy. Like I just couldn't believe I was doing it. And I hit send. And, a few days later, I got some responses, and they were positive and they were constructive. And I thought, you know what, maybe I can do this. And so it's been totally weird, but in a good way. So this group is really, really helpful. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody.
Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. And you got to understand, when we first do something, we're never that great at it. Look at a child that learns how to walk, they fall down, but it's the only way you're going to do it, by getting out there and, and looking at the constructive criticism too. Don't be afraid of it. This is your first time. How are you going to be a fabulous, great writer? You've got to keep doing it and doing it to improve. Like a child learns how to walk, you fall down, you get back up. So I'm so proud of you. You exhibited what I call courage. You felt the fear and you did it anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations. That is amazing. I'm so happy for you, Jenny. Keep it up. Keep it up. Don't be afraid. Okay. All right. Anyone else want to share? I'm so happy to hear this.
Hi guys. Hi Joni.
Hi.
So
Hi.
last week I had to fly to Sacramento to see my best friend's son graduate high school. And before I left, she told me she wasn't feeling great. And I'm like, uh-oh. And I haven't traveled by airplane. I'm not vaccinated, and I just by choice. And so I've been kind of organically sheltered here with my life. I just do all my astrology readings, via Zoom. And so I knew I was taking a risk. So I ended up enjoying the graduation. And then I was actually on our Zoom session last Tuesday, and I was in the airport, the Sacramento airport, and I was trying to listen, and it's noisy and I kept cutting in and out. And then I get on the plane, and the plane's literally about to take off. And I forget who spoke last week. It was toward the end about COVID. And yes, I knew it was you. And I literally, I'm like, oh, I tuned in because you were so honest. And you said, you hadn't been vaccinated, and you thought that you had, kind of escaped COVID. And I'm sitting there, and I could feel in my body that COVID was starting to move in. And I haven't had COVID either for this whole time. And so I'm listening, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what? And I knew that was the path that I was going to be on for the next couple of days by hearing what you're talking about. And so this past week, that's kind of been what I've been experiencing. But the first 18 hours of my experience with COVID, it was almost a mini awakening. It was actually so incredible feeling the virus kind of move through my body, and feeling my immune system step up to the plate and do, work its magic. And it was really, really powerful. And I have K2 transiting through my 6th house, which is where my moon is. I'm a Libra moon. So K2, I know, is going to be activating some things with the health. So I've had to make a lot of adjustments. But what was interesting is that I was supposed to reconnect with an old fling, and I've been single for a long time now. And I also have Rahu in my 12th house, which brings back, he's the trickster, and he brings back people from our past. And so the very day that I was supposed to meet up with this old fling, I got diagnosed with COVID. And so I listened and trusted that, the universe always has our best interest. I was very sad, and I'm like, why is this happening? I went to that place for about 5 minutes and realized that the universe is always divinely guiding us. And I also realized it's pretty powerful to get COVID to avoid seeing someone that's not in my best interest. So, but I wanted to I thought that was just a nice story. And I thought about you a lot this past week. I forget your name. I can't see Michelle. Yes. Yeah. And I thought about you a lot because it felt, it was such an interesting experience. And I'm actually really grateful now. I'm through the worst of it, and only lasted a short time, and I'm on the up and up now. But I also find it interesting, right? Saturn is retrograde, and he's about to pull back into the sign of Capricorn on July 12th. And it's Saturn, it's like we're going to return to some of the lessons from the past 2.5 years. And, all the things that we didn't learn as a collective society. And so I just kind of chuckled that was the time that I would get COVID, was right. I'm in my Saturn Rahu Dasha. So Saturn and I have a great love affair. But I just wanted to share. It was beautiful and intense. And I really appreciate this group as well. And I was literally listening to you talk, Michelle, as the plane is like in the sky. I'm like, "Wait, I can't hear."
Well, I think you look great. I mean, honestly, you didn't get the deadly feeling of the, mine was an elongated version. And that's what's so mystical, like you said, and in some regards, it's a very mystical experience because we can't put our finger on why it affects everyone so different. Why is it putting some people in the hospital and killing them? Why is some people this just, kind of passing through and it isn't this long COVID situation? And however you integrate through it, you're going to come out more aware, more appreciative. I think what Joni's advice to me was, to be mindful that I think I'm probably a little older than you. I'm in my 50s. And I just feel like Joni was reminding me that we don't have forever to live. And I like that, you noticed that you were, although probably looking forward to seeing an old boyfriend, that you were acknowledging the truth that wasn't going to happen and that the universe was going to, kick you out of the way and tell you, hey, or you could have gotten him sick. And you chose that you still had enough love and respect for not doing that. But thank you for sharing. And I'm glad that rant, even though I was kind of embarrassed afterwards, I was like, well, there must have been a purpose behind it. And so
there wasn't. And there's been such a stigma about COVID. And I think it's an upgrade for our collective society, right? We're hitting the stride of the Aquarian age, which is all about truth within ourselves. And I really think this collective upgrade, it has to really kind of stop us dead in our tracks for us to learn, the messages behind it. But I really appreciated your story. And I felt such a kindred connection because it's not like anything my body's ever experienced before. And I just let it happen. I did all kinds of breath practices and mantras. And I will share this with the group. I would get golden seal. It's a tincture. I'm sure I was taking that hourly and I blazed through it. I mean, faster than I think most people, but that's a leader retreat in Mexico this next week. So I have no choice but to get better. So, but I appreciate all of you coming on and sharing. It's so vulnerable to share and just being comfortable, just sharing aspects, because you just never know who needs to hear what you have to say. So thank you all for showing up here every week. It's a joy to be with you all. So thank you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you, Angie. That was beautiful and so well said. And I wonder if you could have even avoided COVID with the way your chart is. With what is it, K2 in your 6th house on your moon? Oh my God. I don't even know if you could have avoided that, but it's not the time to meet to have a new relationship, because don't forget that Rahu's in the 7th house from your moon.
Yeah, and I'm in my Saturn Rahu dasha, and Rahu sits in my 5th house of creation.
Yes.
So it can be tricky. I'm turning 44, so I know there's no children coming into my vessel, but yes, there's no escaping COVID. I think everything is a lesson. We're learning from everything. And I love what you said, because I know that Saturn going back into Capricorn from July through the end of the year is a return to all that we have not completed within the cycle of Saturn being in Capricorn. So there's a lot more to come. But let's enjoy it while we can before Saturn's there in about, I don't even, it's about a week, I think. It's about the 1st or 2nd week of July, right? Yeah. I think July 12th.
Yeah. So anyway, get ready, guys. We're going to have to review some things, and we probably will need the support of each other. So let's stay in touch like we're doing right here. Anyone else want to share anything?
I have a question about your magazine, Joni.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find out what the difference is between the older magazine, the Astrologic magazine that most of us are probably subscribed to, and what's the difference between the new one?
Okay. So Victoria and I are separating. So Victoria's going to take over the Astrologic. I said, go ahead, take it.
Okay.
And but she's going to focus more on dreams and tarot, which she's all about, you know.
Okay.
So she's going to strengthen her, you know, her viewpoint and what she's all about, while I'm going to make mine mainly about the Vedic sciences, which is, of course, Vedic astrology, palmistry, Ayurvedic healing. But, you know, we're going to have some people that are going to, you know, do other, you know, metaphysical things. But yeah, there's 2 separate magazines now. Now, we had said that we would give people, if you bought a year for Astrologic, we would give people a couple of free months of ours. And then
That's what's
and
happening for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to go on and sign up too. And I thought, well, you know, I want to clarify what the difference is. Why would I, you know, I don't think many people probably know that you guys are maybe making this physical separation between you on from
Yeah.
that business side of it. And so I thought, well, why would I want to have 2 different things going at the same time? And that's why I wanted the clarity.
Yeah.
I know for myself on the astrologic side, I've always been more interested in the astro finance side.
which
So,
I'm going to be, I've already written my article for July. Yeah.
so it's going to be in yours. And so
Yeah.
I didn't really need to, I guess what I'm saying is I didn't really want to duplicate and have, you know, because I'm sure other people have other subscriptions as well.
Yeah.
And we love having, you know, this commitment. And if, you know, you almost have to like pick and choose your, the best things that
Yeah.
you want to stay connected to financially.
Yeah.
So
She'll
but yeah.
probably have somebody write something about, you know, finance, but I'm taking over and I couldn't use the same name. So it's called Astro. I forgot what it is, but it's the same article about what stock
Okay.
to choose. And plus in every single one that I'm going to be writing, I'm going to write what the overview is for the economy and then pick a stock. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I think everybody's different. But I know for myself, I feel like if there was something specific to that, that's what I would want to be plugged into, because
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
interest on that side.
Yeah. Good. Well,
I'm a
thank you.
Capricorn, for God's sakes.
I know. We all have our individual interest, right? Nothing wrong
Yep.
with that. That's who we are. That's good. So yeah, no, I'm going to continue the Astro Finance, but it's going to be, and I chose the name I did. I was kind of uncomfortable just because people are searching in the, I don't know, the search channels, however that all works, my name and astrology. So it's Joni Patry's Astrology Insights.
Okay.
Yeah. And
But just go to your website to sign up, basically, because that's
Yes.
where you do it, right?
Yes, because when you go to my website, Shree's got where there's a little button right on the front page where you click on it and it takes you right there to purchase it. But yeah,
Okay.
the July issue, we're really excited about, by the way, because it's going to be all of the students' research journals. I mean, we were going to have a research journal magazine where all the students conducted research and some of them as groups, but we could never get them to write on time or get it all going. So it's going to now be a section in the magazine that I'm putting out, the research with all the students from the university. And I wrote my article on Saturn and Uranus and backed it up with all the research of all the different events and what manifested from it. So it's going to have that aspect to it. And then every month we're going to interview a famous astrologer and they're going to be on the cover, just like, you know, Time magazine or Forbes, somebody's on the cover, their face. So, you know, since I'm starting this, I'm going to be the one on the cover for the first issue, but we're looking at many interviews down the road of famous astrologers. So you'll get to hear about their lives and what, you know, their families, everything. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just kind of a thing of interest. People love to know about people. That's why People Magazine's so popular. Okay. Any
Great,
other
thank you.
questions? You're welcome. Thanks for asking.
Hi, Joni. This is Sandeep Rai.
Hi,
My first
Sandeep.
class-
Congratulations. I'm glad you're here. You told me you were joining us. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's been nice I felt like, I mean, it was just time commitment, and so I blocked my calendar because it's a work day, so I blocked my calendar.
Mhm.
And for me, what resonated for you, what you said, there are multiple things going on, but first thing, I'm grateful. A lot of change over the last 1 year. As some of you all know, I moved from California to Florida,
Mhm.
and I have a special needs child. I have a Down syndrome child, and we moved here specifically for that.
Yeah.
And and also I could work remotely. So things are going fine. She's included in a normal classroom. So for me, what resonated with you is having a life of a purpose, working purpose, and
Mhm.
trying to help people. And I've been working. I'm waiting for my green card, though I've lived for 24 years. So purpose is to get my career purpose, but it's also managing your personal. Life is not about all about career, but also about your
Mhm. Uh-oh. Is that me or is that him? Can
I think we lost him.
Oh, darn. Hey, it was so nice to have a man for a change. I was like, wait a minute, this woman's great.
yeah. I'm
Okay,
back.
okay, sorry. What were you
It
saying?
was
We missed it.
yeah. So it's just that it's a balance for me right now. It's just getting my relationships sorted. For my wife is
Yes.
having a burnout because of it's summer and the kids are there. So we are trying to manifest so that we can get some help, domestic help, so that we can, in Florida it's much more easier. So that is something which I want to manifest to the universe, and hopefully soon we get that. For helping my wife so that she gets some more time for herself. And
Mhm.
then the second thing I want to manifest is I just sold a house in California, made a good profit, everything, very grateful for that. But of course, I thought I was too smart, and I went and invested a little bit in crypto,
Oh,
and
no.
took a hit. But it's money which I can afford to lose. There's no issues. But one of the companies which I was really banking on, and which is trying to change the the banking system, is right now in trouble. And so I'm trying to support them, and I want to join them as a company. So, and I want them to succeed because they're taking on the banks, and it's called Celsius Networks. They're in it's a big controversy right now. So that I'm looking for that to happen. And it's just multiple things, and also health. So there are multiple things. It's what I am asking for the universe is patience, because I know things will come through. But sometimes when you have multiple balls which you're juggling, your astrology studies, there's so many things out there. It's just that I'm grateful always. But only thing is the health, take care. So someone asked me, one of the persons said that they want to contemplate a city change. Like I moved from the Bay Area, California Bay Area, which was very, the energy is very different. It's a very beautiful area, but the energy is very different there. And I moved to Sarasota, Florida, which is, I go to the beach every day, Siesta Key Beach. I live 15 minutes. So I'm always greeting people, mostly there are older people and a lot of women generally. And for some reason, when I really wanted to have women in my life, never had that. But now I'm surrounded with all the women. So it's always glad. I have two girls and my wife, and of course the lot, and then a lot of my mother's not there, so I've always gravitated to older people and in the beach. So a lot of good things happening. It's just that patience, which I want to manifest is, and things will come and the universe will give it. But for me to have patience and go with the flow, and hopefully this class will on a weekly basis would help me, keep
Yes.
grounded and, get there. So it's a lot of sharing, but just wanted to just let that. Hopefully, if you're good, the main thing is my daughter, so that we're doing everything so that she's nonverbal, so that she speaks, and my wife is so that if my daughter's health improves, then my wife's stress goes, and and if I'm able to find that domestic help and help that. So, those are the things which I feel slowly. But of course, all are interconnected, and I think we can work. But too many things anyway. I talk too much. Yeah.
Yes.
Pardon me, yeah. But yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
so
Thank you
much.
once again.
Yes, thank you for sharing. So Sandeep, one thing I think that you need to focus in on is on what you really want. So in other words, one at a time. And it sounds like to me, you moved from California to Florida for your family. You moved there for the betterment of your family, for your daughter, for your wife. That's what your focus, because that's what I think, that is what you want initially. And of course you're going to get it because you're doing everything humanly possible to make this happen and work. So you are going to get it, but focus on the specific thing you want. I think you're being very patient. You did, a major move, and now you're letting all the pieces fall into place. So, but think about what you want the most. And it sounds like to make your family happy and content, that this move was for that purpose, for family. And that's where I think the focus is in this week. And especially, how perfect is it for you to realize you have to come together and spend more time with your family? That's a message we have for this week, coming together with our support group, people, friends. You're doing it in your family. So you're doing everything. And any way that we can help you manifest anything specific you want, we're here to help you with that as well. But thank you.
It's
so much.
just peace of mind for my wife and my kids, and then hopefully for me, my career, that is secondary, but right now it's family focused, because my wife's
Exactly.
health is important. Yeah.
Good. You're doing it. You will receive. I know. So thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks once again. And thanks, Joni, for everything. I've connected with so many people here in the class, and with other people also here. So it's thanks once again. It's there's a lot of learning which I get from the community. So thank you once again to the community too. Yeah.
You're so welcome. And like I say, I love people, so I like bringing them all together. So this is my pleasure. And thank you for showing your appreciation for, the effort I'm putting out. Thank you so much. So we are at an hour and a half, so our time is up. But I want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for being here and how this is all unfolding. It's so strange because remember, I told everyone, I'm being called to do this. I don't know why. I resisted it for so long, but the universe is telling me to do this class. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this class. But now I know why. It's all unfolding and we're all supposed to be here and help each other. So thank you, everyone, for being here today. Don't forget, next week we have the speaker. Pam Gregory's going to talk to us, and she is a delightful, wonderful soul. Yes, she does Western astrology. That's okay. Western astrology is good. It's great for understanding our personality. That's how I see it. But we'll let Pam talk about, what it is that she does in her life to grow spiritually and come from the light, because that's what this class is all about, to be able to come from the light, to get away from all the negativity that is so rampant in the world right now, and to create more life through these groups and our positive energy that we're sharing with each other. So don't forget to show up next week for Pam, and she'll be our speaker. Okay, well, thank you, everyone.
A lot of the emails bounced back. So if you guys have my email, it's lindorner@gmail.com. You can send it to me. But I sent one to everyone who had it in the chat, and 3 of them have bounced back. Sandra, Demon, and someone else.
You want to put your email in the chat again? Because you said it really fast.
I know it. Yeah, I know it's going to go away as soon as we leave. So I just wanted.
Sure.
Just make sure you check your email right now. And if you didn't get it, then I don't have it.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, good. I'm glad you said something. So is everybody good now? Do we have what we need?
This was great, Joni. It's always great. It's very positive and uplifting, and you shift the energy in such a beautiful way.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So have a wonderful rest of the week. And I want to hear about how this message has affected your life next week. So thank you again. And
Bye-bye.
this is all recorded, remember. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.